we got some hot seat questions. Hot seat questions. So, Steve, you might be thrown into the hot seat questions here so first of all, Steve Kennedy is with Dirt, right?
That's correct, sir.
And you do construction, modular construction for inside a place, right?
Yeah, I like that for sure.
Pretty good, right? I was actually paying attention last time.
I'm going to hang with you more often.
So what does it look like? So the hot seat questions, because you might be filling in for Rafael Moreira if he doesn't get here.
Jason Moore's here too, Dave.
Jason Moore's here?
Yeah.
Hold on. Hang on, Jason. No, that's Jason Moore, not Jason Moy. That's okay, Jason Moore. Okay. You can stay. She thought it was Jason Moy, the lawyer. All right. So here's the hot seat questions for everybody here. Peter, you're in this too. What does it look like to be prepared? Number 2, what does federal focus look like? That's a new one. And what are the reasons companies fail? With the bonus being, how does Sam Radar help? What does that mean? That's samradar.com. And you'll be hearing a little bit about that because guess what? We will connect you with experts. We'll be discussing what works. We'll highlight sponsors and partners. Just remember what you paid for this fine session. And you can't do this alone. And the whole idea is this. Everybody needs help. I need help. You need help. Sally needs help. Peter needs help. Steve needs help. Everybody here needs help. We cannot do it alone. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about is samradar.com and how it can help you get to where you want to go. So we love participation so much that if you just show up here like Steve does, and you might just be elevated to a panelist just like that. Yep. So we're going to share links and docs, and the links and the docs that we're going to share. Hang on one second. I'm going to grab this. If I can do this without causing a warp in the time-space continuum. I'm going to drop the documents in here. Boom. So we got the documents. That includes my contact information. You pop that into the chat. We have 36 people here, so if you have a question, raise your hand. Or pop it in the Q&A so we can pay attention to it and do our best to be able to help you get to where you want to go today. Quick disclaimer for industry. It's not affiliated or endorsed by anybody, GSA or anybody else. Participation does not guarantee an award. You believe that, Steve Kennedy?
Amen.
And if you're a Govy, you can participate in this too. We love to hear from the Govies. So if you're having to be a Govy, raise your hand and we'll make sure we get you in there. And do that. So quick poll right now is, why are you here? Let's get to know each other. Are you new to federal contracting? Maybe you're subcontracting and you want to prime. Maybe you're a prime contractor, you want to grow, kind of like Steve Kennedy's a prime contractor and a sub, right?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
You can do both. You can choose as many as you want. Or you're here because some nut sent you an email, and I know Jay Talbot is going to fill out that one right there.
He always does.
Some nut sent me an email. In the chat, you will find the 2023 spending report. It's important to know how the money's being spent. Is it not, ladies and gentlemen? Don't you want to know?
Yes, sir.
There you go. Oh, that's hold on, man. I was waiting for you, brother, man.
The doctor is here. Yes.
The doctor's here, but Steve, you can stay. I'm not going to kick you out.
I'd be happy to stand aside for Dr. Raphael.
But it's awesome. So Steve Kennedy, you are a long time Sam Radar user now, so I appreciate you joining us. And you're also have a lot of experience. You've seen money disappear from contracts that you've been working on to be reallocated, haven't you?
Amen. That's what happens.
That's what happens. And you're still in it. You're still alive. All right, and Pedro's here.
All day.
Gosh, you got good folks here today. All right, let's see. One word. Let's hear it. One word for doing. What's your one word for doing business with the federal government, Steve Kennedy?
Patience.
Oh, nice word. That's a good one. Patience. Love that. What's everybody else's word?
Proactive.
Proactive. Todd Crane says, Todd Crane's here. Jiminy Christmas, Todd. Awesome, man. We got all kind of people here. Hold on a second.
Specialized, Dave.
This is awesome. Todd,
Specialized.
I'm going to elevate you, hang on a second. I'm going to elevate you too, Todd, because Todd just did a session with us on on DOD. Can you get elevated there, Todd? Did I do it? Promote the panels. I'm trying, dude. I'm trying. I am not doing a good job today. Ruby says relationship. I love that. Love that. Jason Moore says efficient for size. I would argue, I'm not sure I agree with you, Jason, but that's okay because we accept all opinions.
That's right.
That's right. And guess what? It's all a matter of perspective.
We're not going to cancel you.
That's right. We're not going to cancel. Preston Lathan says money with dollars. Let's say to the lesson of how to actually win a contract. Love that. Love it. All right. So guess what? We are here because what's your word, Sally?
Dangerous opportunity. The Japanese word for danger and opportunity at the same time.
You're the only person that would ever.
One word. Come on. One word. I could have done that. Come on.
It is the one. It's a Japanese word. It is a Japanese word.
A Japanese word.
Arigato. Yes.
Thank you, Steve, for your support.
Oh my gosh.
Kumbawa.
So that's all. What did you just say, Steve Kennedy?
Sally knows.
Okay, good. I only know what. I don't even remember. Mr. Roboto. What is that? Only what he got.
All you know is Benihana, and that doesn't count.
That's crazy.
Wax on, wax off, Dave.
Wax on, wax it. Okay.
Answer your phone. Mushy, mushy. I don't know.
Dave, you've lost control of the meeting.
I have. I never had it.
47 people, Dave. 47.
That's right. We love it. So we are here because we want to help folks, right? That we're here to help. It can be patience, real important patience. Mine is, and I agree with, I do agree with, I like yours, right? Raphael's niche, but Jay Talbot is nutso. That's a great word. It is not easy to be here, and that's why we have folks here like the good doctor. The doctor who helps with capability statements, briefings, videos, websites, and such. And if you get this from your marketing folks, like they don't understand what a capability statement is, guess what? They don't understand.
You're in the wrong spot.
So we're going to be talking a lot about this today, Rafa, and that is preparation. That's the first question that we're going to have. What does it mean to be prepared? So I'm going to be relying on you. I love what you do with capabilities business cards.
Yep.
Makes codes, contract vehicles on your business card. Communicates good things. And I'll tell you what, I was in D.C., and you could tell the people that were ready to do business with the government because they literally, I'm looking for one that had it. Here's one. Here's one. I have no idea. Michael, this was Ellsworth. They had, and this is great too, Sally. They got the little code on there and everything, but they got their DUNS, their CAGE, their UEI, their socioeconomic set-asides right there. So that's cool. We're going to talk about that, and I'm going to rely on you, Rafa, for that. We also have Sally White, the Uber connector, the master networker, the LinkedIn wizardry. What do you call that?
So one of my clients told me
Wizardess.
the government contract whisperer or the LinkedIn whisperer.
All right. Yeah, you're a loud whisperer though.
That's true.
All right. Yeah. So this is how we roll here, folks. So just letting you know what you're in for. So she does a lot of work in social media and opportunity teaming. I love working with her. We also have Peter Timbus, absolutely essential for what I was at this event with Chase Bank and Chase DC. Obviously, they're a bank. They have challenges in being able to loan and support federal contractors because banks don't understand it, right, Peter?
That's
but
correct.
You do. So we're going to be talking, I'm going to rely on you too. So we'll be talking about, because preparation, that's part of preparation too. So I want to hear from you on that. Peter, it helps folks, and you can see they've been around for a long time. What I love most about Peter is he understands the federal marketplace and how he can help you be able to fund. Brian Hebel's a loser. He is not here with us today. He's a former Govy, and he's a very good friend of mine. So we call each other losers all the time. But I do love him. Let me tell you, this guy, if you look at the maturity model, right? So a lot of folks, what we're talking about here is business development, helping you win contracts, right? Steve Kennedy, that's what we're here for, right?
Yes, sir.
But we also have compliance issues because guess what? Guess what you agreed to when you signed up on SAM.gov as well as won that contract? You agreed to a whole crap load of FAR regulations, didn't you?
Yep.
So when you look at the maturity model, your FAR, your CPARs, that's what Brian Hebel does. Awesome guy. I am here to try to bring order to chaos. Right, Todd Crane? Hang on a second. I'm gonna make you co-host, man. I finally saw you there. Todd Crane's here. We bring some order to chaos. I will be doing a SAM.gov tutorial today. I will be doing that. You can find that on govbrief.us. I'll show you a little bit more about that. A little bit about ISI Federal. We're not going to go too deep. GovBrief is on that. Is one of our companies that we use to be able to press out to industry like you. We do things with all the folks that you've seen here. We also are calling for experts. If you're an expert, like Todd Crane is an expert. Todd Crane, you there? Can you unmute by chance? Man, it's not working. Todd is an expert. Go ahead, Todd.
Yeah.
Hey, man. So
Hey.
there he is. So Todd, you're a former Marine, right?
Yes.
And we talked
You're
about
never a former. You're never a former.
You know,
Marine.
former Marine.
Well, what?
Yeah, that's a Marine.
Always a Marine. Yes.
That's a fact. Right. So he's still a Marine.
I believe you build on it, right? There's that identity, but you got to go and use that as a basis to go achieve great things. You did great things in the Marines, but now you got to go use that to do your next chapter.
That's right.
I don't like people that focus on yesterday, right?
Mhm.
What they 10 years ago.
There you go.
How are you using that to drive everything forward?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, that's not a regulation haircut there, buddy.
Neither is that freedom. Neither is that freedom beard he's sporting. Is it? But I'll tell you what. So kind of who Todd is. He had the highest Pentagon security clearance because he was doing clearances for the senior cleared people. Just saying, right, Todd?
I mean that's one way to put it. Yeah. So I used to be PERSEC chief of SSO Marine Corps. So I held all the generals in the national cap. I held all the clearances in the national cap region. I also oversaw all clearances directly or indirectly in the entire Marine Corps. So that's anything from generals. That's also like policy wise. I focus on subordinate commands, everything. So I also owned all of these SCIFs and T-SPLAs in the Marine Corps side of the Pentagon.
So if you're wondering about security, if you're wondering about secret things, he can't even tell us anything. He can barely even talk because of how much he knows. So there you go. So and you were one of the experts. I want to invite people, if you want to do business with the DLA, this is the other place. This is who I'm going to introduce you to, Todd. This is the CMMC mandate for defense, the DIB, Defense Industrial Base. If you are in that, you need to know about this because there's new stuff coming down the pipe. If by chance you need some help with federal contract management for profitability, if you're not sure exactly how to make things profitable, it's not easy to make things profitable in a project, is it, Steve Kennedy?
Got to watch your P's and Q's.
Got to watch it. So that's a brand new Antoine Smith from Smith Group. I'm also going to be talking about fpds.gov. You can find all the characters. There's the one character, Todd Crane, right there. So you can find, and there's Jason Moy with the other folks. You will find those on demand as well as live on GovBrief. Sam Radar will be talking about that in depth today. So the spending fuse is lit. And what does that mean, by the way? Why is the spending fuse lit, Steve Kennedy?
You're in the middle of a year. They got money and they got to spend it before the end of the year.
And they might be just a little bit behind, right?
Just a tad. They don't normally start off the beginning of the year with full funding, as is customary. So,
and they just passed it about a month ago. So we're going to be talking a lot about this. So the hot seat questions are this. Again, what does it look like to be prepared? What does federal focus look like? And what are the reasons companies fail? So I'm going to pop this out. For the first one, now, Raphael, this is your lane. This is your lane. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you. Everybody has the ability to take over. So I would love to see what it looks like to be prepared. Now, some people say I'm prepared. I signed up on sam.gov. I got everything I need. Right? Is that what you're saying? Does everybody agree with that? Everybody, we can just shut everything down right now and
Just wait for the orders to come in.
just wait for the orders to come in. What does it really look like to be prepared? Rafa, you go ahead and start. I'm going to pop the docs in there. What do you got? What do you got for us for being prepared?
Well, procurement readiness is very important. It's more than just checking off a few items on a posture list, if you will. It's all about being ready to engage with federal buyers, with key decision makers and stakeholders in the federal supply chain. As someone who wants to offer either a product or a service, you need to make sure that you have the right stuff in order to engage, so that you give a first solid impression of who you are as a provider in the federal supply chain. You need to make sure that you are properly registered, that you have any and all certifications that may be relevant to the government as a small business, and that you have both the technical proficiency and the ability to execute as promised and as requested in either a task order, a billet, or an IDIQ, or any type of procurement vehicle. So procurement readiness is that exactly, your ability to execute on and meet the expectations as set by the government procurement officer on a specific task order, statement of work, request for information, et cetera, et cetera. It means that you mean minimal risk for the government because the government is risk averse, right? It means that, just like in the case of security clearances, right, for personnel, as an entity, the government is going to vet you out to make sure that you meet the procurement readiness criteria as described. So from a vendor risk management standpoint, BRM, which is what I've done my entire life, you're less risk, and the government has very little tolerance for risk because it's taxpayer funded money, right? It's not their, this money doesn't grow on a tree, unlike what some people think, right? We just print more money, keep growing trees, right? So they have a big responsibility.
They got a lot of trees.
Yeah, a lot of trees. I'll tell you that. Yeah, till you run out of space for trees, right? That's the problem, right? And then the trees are worth half as much and 1/3 as much. So the problem is so as a new company, you really need to be properly registered in all of the procurement vehicles.
And what are those? What are
the portals, right?
The portals.
The number one is a SAM, the System for Award Management, right?
Right, got it.
Right? Number two, the Dynamic Small Business Search, which is the SBA's internal website, which really is, aside from SAM, the single most important source of information where you need to be registered and need to show up strong. Okay.
All right. So that's this, right? It's a super sexy website, by the way.
Yeah. It's not the most attractive interface in the world, but it is a quintessential component of your marketing to the government piece of the equation, and you need to pay a lot of attention to this. Yep. You need to get smart on the use of this tool, and it needs to be part of your arsenal of your everyday tools that you need to use to market yourself.
Can you give me a company that you work with that I can throw in here that they can see one that you've worked with?
Sure. So Juliana is on with us right now. Let's see, one of the recent ones that we've done. I mean, we've done hundreds and thousands of firms, but Juliana helped out here with a recent one. Just thinking out loud here. One of the more recent ones. Let's see. BM. Let's see. Is BM Productions finalized, Juliana? She's on the.
Where's Juliana? I can elevate. If you got one that you want to share.
Here. So Stone Fleet. Look up Stone Fleet.
STONE.
Yeah, Stone Fleet.
FL, all one word or two?
FLEET. Yeah, Stone Fleet. They're an engineering firm. Let's look them up. 2 words? Yeah.
Or 1 word?
2 words.
2 words.
Yeah.
Stone Fleet. So we can look this up. This is how it works. Now, I can't make any excuse for how fast it goes, but we're going to find out what's in here. Here's Stone Fleet Incorporated in where?
Right. That's that's us. Okay, let's click on that. Click on that.
Click on this.
Yep. All right.
So again, this is a very sexy website, so please control yourself and contain yourself as to how good this looks.
You know what? Let's use in-flight. let's use in-flight. Let's not use this one. Let's go to
All
in-flight.
right. In flight. Let me go
In-flight,
back.
yeah.
In flight.
Yep, in-flight. Here's an example of a company that
In flight. All one
in-flight.
word.
And they're in-flight, and they're in-flight medical services,
All right, we'll see. We'll see what comes up.
space medical services, right?
I don't need that. It can't be. All right. In flight medical services, right?
Yep, the first one.
All right.
Yep.
First one.
Okay.
All right, let's
All
take
right.
a look.
This is an example right here. If you want to open that up, Dave, so people can see. So first and foremost, right, you'll see that third line into this, the first order of business. If you do not have a capability statement link with an updated copy of your capability statement, you are doing yourself a disservice. Very important to have one on there. And yes, we designed and copywrote this beautiful and highly informative capability statement.
That's sexy right there.
Yes. All right. So if you notice, the capabilities narrative, right, is like a little mouthful, and it tracks to both the capability statement, to the information on their website. You have a good summary of your NAICS codes, your PSC codes, and you also have a capabilities narrative. Now, notice we're marketing a mature and highly sophisticated service provider. They're in a niche space, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've done literally like tens of millions of dollars in services to the government. I forget the exact dollar amount, but they've done more than, I mean, just so you know, they've been in business since 1978. They're doing a lot of transport for VA and for hospitals, and they focus on providing medical transport. That's their thing, right? So special equipment needs, if you go there, you'll see that we put every single key word in there, right? Special equipment and materials, so that when the contracting officers look up special electronic BP cuffs or ventilator or you look at DOH EMS standards or pulse oximeter, all of that, Sapphire 4 pumps, it comes up right away, right?
Nice.
And you've got their past performance, okay? Now, here's an example. So she doesn't want to give away the farm, right? So this is important.
This is good news. But follow this.
Yeah. So here you have in the performance history, you've got, ladies and gentlemen, $43.5 million with the DOJ and the Bureau of Prisons, right? And these are actual, listen, I validated every data point on here. I've pulled reports. We've seen SALs. We've seen everything. There's absolutely no, there's no falsification of history here.
And we're going to prove it in just a minute.
Oh yeah. Go ahead. But remember, a lot of this is BPA, so you're not going to see it when you pull some of the stuff up. And so 43, and in fact, it was below her actual amount, which was interesting. So $43.5 million with the DOJ and BOP, and with the VA, look at that, 32.8 million. So these people are, they're up there. They're going to be pushing. They're doing great. And
what I want to
go ahead.
What I want to do is I want everybody to see the place. SAM.gov is one of those, but the other place here is the SDBS, right, or DSBS, whatever.
This is the most important one, Dave. I'll tell you right now.
I agree.
If you're not properly registered in SAM and don't have all the primary NAICS and if you don't have your primary and secondary NAICS, and you're not mapping your activity to your PSC codes, which is what a lot of the government buyers use, then you're doing yourself a disservice. What I like to do is I like to map the information on a matrix, right? Like a meatball chart when you're doing a proposal, and have all of the keywords and SEO target words that you use on your internet search, and look them up on your websites to make sure that they're there on the front end and back end on the SEO component, right? When people are searching for those. And then we reflect that on the front end with a capability statement that encapsulates what you do, who you are, and what you bring to the table in 8.5 by 11 format on the front end. And then the back end becomes the 1-2 kung fu punch, right? Because you've got the past performance, contracting vehicles in greater detail. If you bring up her capability statement,
I'm gonna go back there right now.
It is fire, right? It's got what you're looking for. So this really first part here passes the 6 second test, right?
Yep.
We've got a capability statement with all the essential elements of information on the front end. Then on the back, if you look at it, core competencies, right? You've got everything there. Aeronautical transport services.
Let me tell you what I like. Everything that you have here also lines up is what you did on SBA.
Yes.
So what I want to, I want to hear more. I want to hear what Sally has to say about getting prepared and looking like you belong on LinkedIn. We'll talk about that in just a second, Sally. But what I love about this is all of these are intertwined. They should be consistent. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
They're being consistent. So
And the key differentiators, Dave, notice that we're talking about true differentiators.
Yep.
Please do not shoot yourself in the foot
Yep.
by saying, "Oh, I'm a veteran-owned business." That's not a differentiator, knucklehead. You need to tell them how you're different from the other guy on, standing in line. And in their case, look, we've got a 45-year track record of past performance. That is a differentiator. You've been in business for almost a half century, right? And you've got almost 10,000 awards and $200 million in contract from the U.S. government.
Yep.
How you like them apples, right? That's a differentiator. That shows sustained revenue. That shows the ability to sustain business, to manage cash flow, to manage personnel, to execute on demand for the government. That is what I look for as a procurement professional when I'm vetting out candidates. So
we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that in just a minute. We're going to talk about who the stakeholders are, who we're trying to reach, because we need to prepare, and we're preparing to present the stakeholders, right? Sally, how do you do it? What does preparation look like for you?
Sure. So, of course, adding to everything that Dr. Romero Raphael mentioned, you have to get ready, but intelligence is very important. So when I go to a conference, which Peter and I are doing next week at the Veterans Conference or the Small Business Conference or CR Space, I get prepared. And the first thing I do is I ask for help from Dave and his team for lists of individuals that I can connect with so that I know who to connect with on LinkedIn. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, my LinkedIn screen.
Hit it.
And so basically, sharing screen, here we go. Almost there. And of course, it's not there.
I'm going to bring up intelligence in a minute. So I agree with you on that too. Getting prepared with intelligence.
Absolutely. So one of the things I do, and I don't know why I have my screen up here, but let me try again, share.
Try again. You should be able to.
I know. 1 second. So let me just pull it up here.
So Todd, did you say you raised your hand right a minute ago to throw in?
Yeah. I was just going to say that the DSBS there, I think that's what it's called, is also how primes use, or what primes use to find subcontractors as well. So it's not just for the government. It's, if I'm this massive prime, Lockmark, Raytheon, Boeing, whomever, and I need either to fulfill set aside or I just need to sub some stuff out, that's where I'm going.
Yep.
I was just talking to somebody new. We got some serious stuff happening, Rafa and Sally. You're gonna like this. Talked to him this morning from the UK. Crazy. Can you get it working, Sal?
Yeah, just a second. I have too many. I have like
spot on, by the way. That's right in line with what we say in our book on procurement readiness best practices. Which, by the way, Dave, everyone on this webinar today, everyone, including the panelists, we'll get a free copy. Free copy of our ebook. Yeah.
Sorry.
Your book. There you go. All right.
I had like 90 screens. I'm in San Francisco on one screen. Usually I have 6. Okay. So one of the things I do, like I said, I go to Sam Radar and I really understand who's buying, who's selling, who are the primes, who the individuals are. And Dave will show you in a bit how you can tell that on Sam Radar. I found out about a conference. So I'm a Navy League member. I go to CR Space. There's 15,000 people. I was at a conference and this gentleman, he's a Marine and he did a presentation on a book. And so I found him on LinkedIn and I basically sent him a little message, which I'm going to share with you. I didn't know him, anything like that. I basically shared a message. Can you see it? You guys can see my message, right? So
before you send that message, you want to make sure you look right, right? Before you start doing anything.
Absolutely. So again, I have to know what this person did. I listened to his presentation. I looked up his books and his articles. He's written several articles. And obviously I know my swim lane is DOD, Department of Navy Marines, because I learned a lot on Sam Radar. So I just said very politely, Major Holden, I enjoyed hearing your presentation at the Naval Institute's annual meeting. Congratulate you on your award. He got a nice award. Looking forward to reading your article and connecting on LinkedIn respectfully. So always be respectful. Talk to people by their title. So he immediately, so look at the time I said this, 5:58. Look at the time he responded, 5:58.
That's a LinkedIn user right there.
Right, right. Thanks for and you can tell. See, right, he's probably available now, so I could say hi to him now. He basically thanked me, appreciated the connection. He appreciated me reaching out. Blah blah blah. Glad his speech didn't bore, etc. Your speech is interesting. Caused me to read your special delivery. I want to introduce you to my friend John Johnson. So I'm always connecting people, and you can connect people through LinkedIn. He's flattered that I enjoyed his articles. I mean, this guy's a Marine, right? As my other Marine friends say, when Joan introduced me, we went to this conference and she introduced me to this gentleman. He was like on SEAL Team 8. And I said, wow. And she said, these guys are the ones that carry knives in their teeth, Sally. I mean, that's what she said, right? And he, this gentleman actually is a security for MJ. And so there's a lot of really amazing, interesting people that you meet and connect with. But the key is always be prepared by knowing your audience, your target audience, your buyer persona, who's buying from whom. Go on LinkedIn, do a little due diligence. Don't just connect. I always kind of figure out what they're doing. Or have they written a book? Are they interesting? Like Todd, I attended Todd's incredible GovBrief, and I connected with Todd and said I really enjoyed it. He connected right back, I believe. And
you think maybe he did.
After he did a high security check on me, he made sure I was okay. But it's really important. And LinkedIn is just such a beautiful thing because basically it's free. I have LinkedIn Navigator, which allows me to kind of go to second and third level connections. I know most everyone does here. But be prepared, get prepared, be on Sam Radar, do LinkedIn, and be polite, respectful, and intelligent and precise in our communications.
So being prepared, love that. And Peter, just real quick, your place in this is you can help folks get prepared with their funding. And one of the things that you can help them with is actually before they win anything, give us real short tidbit of what do you call that when you the
letters of financial support. We've been financing government contractors for 34 years, and what makes us different from the typical banking community is banks lend in the rearview mirror, and we look out the windshield. Well, we're going to fund your opportunity regardless of the size of your company, how old you are, if you've lost money or made money. If you've got an opportunity, we're going to give you a letter of financial support that'll state to the government, should you win the award, we will be there to finance that contract for you.
And it's real quick, Peter.
I'm getting a note, Peter. They can't hear you.
They can't hear you.
Yeah, people can't hear you.
I'm gonna tell what you just said. A letter of financial support shows the government that you're capable of being able to perform.
Correct.
Even before you win. So, and I'm going to give you some. So when you talk about that, how much if they just ask you for help on that? How much does it cost them?
Zero.
There's
no cost.
So
and I'm going to tell you how to contact Peter for that. It's a wonderful service. As well,
and he'll make sure his microphone works better.
David, can you hear me now?
A little bit, but you're still lower than everybody else.
Yeah.
So let me do this. I'll get back to you in just a minute. So one of the things I want to do is make sure for folks that are new into this world, contracting officers, you have the procurement side, program managers, project managers, contracting officer representatives, and senior management. Those are the people that we're after, right? And here's how it works. You have your top level people that are appointed by the president, right? Then you have your SESs, right? What are they? Are they flag officers in?
Yeah. You're a flag officer. Well, it depends, right? So the senior executive service and the senior intelligence service and the CIA and other agencies are the equivalent of flag officers, or in the military. By pay grade. Yeah. Senior intelligence service and senior executive service, respective. Yeah.
So
but it's the other way around. So senior executive service, an SES1 is a higher ranking than an SES4, ironically. So if you're an SES1, you need to have a PhD and have all these years in service. So it's the other way around. But yeah.
And it's okay. These are the senior level bureaucrats is what they are, right? So and that's a good thing, by the way. It's not necessarily a bad thing. And then you have your GS15s, which are right up against those SESs that are running programs, right? And the folks on the program side, they want to get the job done. And the folks on the other side, they want to get the contract done. Right? So somebody has a need, gets thrown over the fence to procurement. And if you look at your session handouts, you will see a winnable opportunity matrix. And what we're talking about here is a project manager has a need, throws it over the fence to the contracting officer, and that's what creates an opportunity. And then when you win, that's an award. That's an award, and you're signing the contract with a contracting officer, but you're working for the program side of the house. Is everybody tracking with that? Just want to make sure we do that. All right. So my next question is, what do you need any help getting prepared and running through exactly what we just talked about? And it may be capability statement, presentation deck, marketing materials, LinkedIn profile, intelligence. I am going to show you real quick intelligence that we do for people so that you can see it while you're filling that out. I'm going to pop this up. This is actually live intelligence. It's a couple of years old because I'm not going to give you the new data. But this gets broken out by the categories. And as you can see here, I'm going to unhide these and you will see that we dove down seriously into each one of these aspects for details for 6E technology, right? And if you don't know who 6E is, you can check them out on GovBrief. Literally won contracts from being on GovBrief. So then we looked at the intelligence, and you can see we could dive into the intelligence to see who's buying from specific people. And we have their email address and we have their phone number. That's the objective. And that's what Sally was talking about from a higher end standpoint. This is your market intelligence. This is why it's important to understand for preparing for your marketplace, knowing what you're up against. One of the biggest issues we'll talk about in a minute, and we'll get there. So, hot seat question number 2. What does federal focus look like? And here's what I mean. There's a lot of different ways to look at you can't boil this ocean. It's too freaking big, right? So what is your methodology for going after people? I have my own, and I'm going to share this with people in just a minute by using that intelligence. But, and in fact, I will jump into this from my perspective. I don't care what agency it is. I'm not going to penetrate by agency. I'm going to penetrate by understanding the person and the need. That's what I want. My first contract ever direct with the federal government was with the Railroad Retirement Board. How many people did anybody know that there was such thing as a Railroad Retirement Board? I didn't know. But if I let the intelligence do it for me, the second one I had, the first BPA that I had gotten, with ISI Federal, when we were helping ID experts with a blanket purchase agreement, was with CNCS, the Corporation for National Community Service. Does anybody know who that is? You might know AmeriCorps. That's the top agency. Mm-hmm. But my methodology that I took, I said, look, when I found out that 98% doesn't hit sam.gov, that's the first thing that I found out, and I started tracking where the dollars were being spent. And I built essentially this. And I said, okay, I want to market to the 3,876 people that are on this list. And let's see, what kind of dollars are we talking about here? We're talking about $418 million. Now that's garbage. You don't need that one. I'll hide that one. But the rest of these people are for real. These are dollars being spent by individuals. And oh, by the way, I don't care what the agency is. I care about the person that's spending the money. Does that make sense? So that's my pitch for how I do it. How do you focus, Sally White? You like to look at like, hey, help me map this agency, right? I want to know what's the hierarchy in the agency. How do you do it?
Correct. So I have clients who will say, I would like to get into DHS, Department of Homeland Security, or I have clients that say, I want to get in the Navy, or I have clients that say, I have a virtual learning solution that I want to stand up. Who where shall I go? So I have different clients. No matter what they ask me, I go back to the intel. And again, and I just want to say something. In addition to SAM Radar, I get those each day in my.
And you're talking about this. This is SAM Radar. We'll talk about this in a minute.
Correct. So I get this each day based on my NACE code. So I have several SAM Radar accounts. So, don't be afraid to buy more than one SAM Radar account, right? Because you might, be able to do more with it. So I have several. So I look at the NACE codes for my clients. And then what I do is I see who's buying. And sometimes I can't dig in as far as I need to dig in. Like I have a client right now, and they're really, really specific challenge. And I wrote to Dave and Rob yesterday. And I said, could you help me? And they'll get on and do consulting with me. So if you can't quite get it from your regular SAM Radar, schedule a consulting call with them. And they actually have consulting in their prices, and consulting is very reasonable. They'll get in and they'll actually create reports for you and dig deep to find out who you need. As far as that.
What you're talking about in SAM Radar, let me just say for everybody what she's talking about. So SAM Radar, just like that intelligence I showed you, I don't care what the agency is. I care if they're in my market. Everybody grasping that as a concept. You may choose to just decide to go after a particular agency, but in this instance, here's Rural Housing Service, RHS, right? And we're talking about, what are we talking about here? Let me just clear this a second. We're talking about $1.8 million that was awarded just the other day, and number of offers received not reported. You know why? Because it was one. And you know how you know? Because it's a BPA call. BPA, did it hit SAM.gov? Anybody want to answer that question? Did this hit SAM.gov?
Nope.
No, this didn't hit SAM.gov. Why? Because BPAs don't have, BPA calls, IQ task orders don't have to hit SAM.gov. So, if we're going to act, and what we're going to do is we're going to talk about 2 minutes. We're in 2 minutes, we're going to hit this email. We're going to send an email to this person and say, hey, Ryan, one of two things. Can we get together? I want to chat with you about this BPA that you just awarded $1.8 million on. And if that's the case, we want to go direct with Ryan. Or we can get a referral from Ryan, manufacture a referral from Ryan to Blake Wilson Group, who, oh, by the way, has $1.8 million of taxpayer money, and then some, because we actually looked it up, and they have $42 million in sales. So just like the folks that Raphael was talking about, seasoned people that are already doing the business, that's what SAM Radar is going to do. And this is concentrating on the stuff that doesn't hit SAM.gov. Yes, you still want to bid. Yes, you want to pay attention to what's on SAM.gov, but being smart about the marketplace and acting on it, that's what this is about. So with that, I want to go, let me talk with anybody else. What does federal focus look like to you, Todd, when you think about helping folks? Because you also do stuff to help federal contractors in some form. You're not like us that do BD, but you do other things like compliance. What does federal focus look like to you? If you were going to pursue, how would you do it?
So it's just understanding, again, coming from a compliance perspective, it's understanding the requirements, understanding, how, going in already set up and ready to do business. And that will allow people, that'll actually help you out because, back when I used to work at Raytheon and part of what I did is supplier compliance. And I used to always have to worry about these different sub-tier providers. But if you come in, having all your ducks in a row, that makes my job easier. And especially when I have a quick turn, I need a supplier that can make thermal batteries, right? I know provider XYZ has already done all the steps. I'm just going to go throw money at them because I can get them in, I can get my mission accomplished, and I can move on to the next thing.
That's exactly right. And you don't mind competition, but you don't want too much because that's going to bog you down. If you already have a resource and you already have a path to be able to purchase, that's exactly what you're going to do. And that means that for us, from the outside, we're going to disrupt that. We're going to disrupt what you just said, Todd. That's what we want to do.
People sometimes think about the competition, but at the end of the day, everyone's got a job to do. And that's the biggest thing is getting that job done. Who do I believe can get that job done? Now, maybe I met Sally at a conference and maybe she just exudes confidence, and maybe I'm going to try Sally for this because I need someone that I can trust.
Yeah.
And so that's why these interactions, these relationships are so important. You could put whatever on a page, but that doesn't make me trust you. That doesn't make me try. If I throw money at you, you're going to get it done.
Love it. Love it. Love it. So real quick, I want to get everybody on a 2-minute challenge. If you can do 2 minutes to do what I just said, to engage, who are we engaging? We're engaging folks like Todd that want to get the job done. Why? Because 98% aren't going to hit sam.gov. We want to get around. We're going to get around behind the scenes. Why do we do this? Check this out. 76% of all of the contract activity, zero competition. Just like I just showed you. Not all of them are BPAs either. They're because they're buying from people they trust, just like Todd. It doesn't have to be a blanket purchase agreement. Todd could buy. You can, if they like you, if they trust you, Todd, if you trust people, you will find a path to buy from them. Would you not?
Yeah. I've even seen the government re-award contracts because a specific person left one company, went to another company. And so they told the person, hey, carve out this part of the contract and reassign it to this other person because we trust that person.
Because you trust that person. I love it. And the rest of this looks just like this, 91% shortlisted. What does that mean? 1 of 5 or fewer. That's how everybody buys. You buy that way, I buy that way, they want to buy that way. The rest of it they may put on sam.gov. But look at the percentages here. 1.3% of all of 2023 showed up on sam.gov. Come on. Come on. That's why we built this. Why? Because 98% don't hit sam.gov. I already took a look at that. So let's talk about federal focus. Do you need help with your federal focus? I'm going to pop open this poll real quick. And that goes to agency targeting and mapping. That's the kind of thing that you can do with LinkedIn real well, can't you, Sally? Sally left. I'm going to tell you.
She was just on there.
Engaging decision makers, finding who people that buy what you sell, real important for that. Finding buyers in your market or with targeted marketing materials. And what I love about what you talked about, you and I talked about this the other day. One of the best, I mean, we do emails like crazy. I mean, we send emails. Everybody here got an email to be here. So we know how to email things. We know how to get people to react to emails. We do briefings and we email to invite people to briefings. But you have something that people are doing now, Rafael Marrero, that they used to do that they haven't done in a while. So tell us about that real quick.
Yeah, we found that direct marketing or direct mail marketing, for example, and the actual tangible printed materials have had a strong return, and that and a higher return on investment than email marketing, for example. So you get a 74% ROI, return on your investment, when you combine direct marketing as part of your overarching strategy. For example, I would say combine the email campaigns, combine the webinars with GovBrief, and include a direct mail piece designed preferably by someone who knows GovCon, right? And knows,
like Rafael Marrero.
It would help, right? Not that it would harm. Who understands the parlance and the terminology, at least, and we can help you do that. And so if you incorporate that into your mix of email, phone calls, and direct mail with the right verbiage and the right type of landing page with email targeting and retargeting with the postal component, that you're going to have a higher chance of standing out in a crowded marketplace. That's the way your pieces are going to be delivered to someone's desk, right? Rather than landing on their junk mail, which is what we want to avoid.
And Joe, we have
some people are asking in the chat. I know we'll be saving the chat.
We'll get there. And David Tootle just said David Tootle's identity thief because he's coming in as Joseph Destro. He was invited by a guest.
Yeah.
But he wants a book.
He wants your book, Raphael.
He wants a book.
I'll think about it with Joe Destro. I'll think about it.
So
Forget about it, right? Forget about
All
it.
right, so we got that. I do want to I want to make sure we keep cooking. Anybody that answered that question for the federal focus, we'll make sure you get that. Hot seat question number 3 is what are the reasons that companies fail? Keep it really brief. Everybody got about 30 seconds. Peter, 30 seconds. Why do companies fail?
Because they're not proactive. They don't look the part. They don't get involved. They need to really get on a program like Sam Radar. And you got to be prepared. Once you win a contract, you've got to know to bid on that contract what your cost of financing is going to be. You can only grow so far organically.
Yep.
You need leverage to really grow your business. And that's where we come in, and we will give you the leverage because we'll lend to the opportunity. So if you're a small company and you're doing $500,000 a year and you see a big opportunity as $4 million a year, we will support you on that effort. Without us, you couldn't bid on that contract. So when you get into Sam Radar, don't close down those opportunities that you think you can't go after, because with our help, we open the whole door.
Love it. That's great. Sally White.
Yes, sir. So number
What
one.
are the reasons?
Yeah. So number one, they don't have a game. They don't have a strategy. And all the things that Dr. Morero talked about and all the things you talked about, Dave and Peter, all part of your strategy. What is your strategy? Second, they don't gather intel. Again, get Sam Radar, go on LinkedIn, know where your buyer personas are going and what they buy and what they're interested in. And then finally, they don't take the time to do things like this, where they're engaging with people who want to help them or go to conferences or read and connect, because you can't, and Dave always says this, I can't connect with someone if I don't know who they are, and they're not going to trust me, as Todd said, unless I connect with them. And I can do it virtually, but whenever possible, go to local conferences. There's so many. I mean, there's thousands of
Finally,
things.
finally, we're actually human beings again.
Exactly. And we can do out there. And so, and then just invert it for why our company's successful. So this is great. Yep.
So no strategy, gather intel, don't take the time. Rob, for 30 seconds on why people fail.
People fail because they don't have the readiness posture necessary to begin with. Situational awareness is very important. They don't understand the lay of the land. They don't have the necessary tools in their toolkit, and they have not developed the necessary infrastructure in their office, in their team to thrive and grow in the federal government.
Love it.
And because they haven't called me. Boom.
Nice. Nicely done. So you got something first, Todd, you can throw in?
Yeah, just super quick. I think Sally mentioned or really hit it on its head about networking, right? Knowing who to talk to and talking to them, right? That's it, right? If you don't have a Rolodex, that's going to be your first. There's a lot of compliance. There's a lot of things that people on this call can help you do. But if you don't know who to talk to and you're not talking to them, none of that will matter.
None of it matters.
So I met Todd, just super quick. So I met Todd because I went to one of the GovBriefs. Highly important to go to GovBriefs. I met Todd. I was super impressed with him. I immediately linked in with him, and then I've already connected with him and we're texting. And so when we hear of people that we can add value to, like I want to say to Todd, what are you looking for? Can I add value? Can I connect? Et cetera. So it's always like, how can I add value to someone else based on what they're doing, if that's possible? And develop a relationship. Let's be friends.
Relationships key. The one that I would say is this: misunderstanding, not understanding this market will make you leave.
Yes.
It'll depress you if you don't go into this eyes wide open. For those of you that are brand new, if you don't go in eyes wide open and know this is a 24 to 36 month marathon just to start to get traction, if you don't go in there with your eyes wide open and think it's a 30, 60, 90 day kind of thing. I was talking to Dacian. It's a company. I'm telling you, this is going to be fun. Rafa, Sally, Peter, Todd, these people are going to be fun. They're way in the mature cycle, but he said, listen, how do you tell time in the government? With a calendar, not a watch.
Yes.
I was like, I said, I'm stealing that, Dan. Dan Murphy's his name. I told him I'd give him credit. Dan Murphy from Dacian said it. And I said, I'm stealing it. I'm going to give you credit because that is absolutely true. You don't measure time in the government with a watch. You measure it with a calendar. It's days, not hours. If you go in and you understand that, if that is the one thing you take away from today, I need to adjust my mindset, then we won. We won in helping you win. We won. Because then you can go about what does it take to really build relationships? You're not going to develop a relationship just because you send emails out. You're going to develop a relationship because somebody responds and you have dialogue. That's how you're going to build relationships. So make sure you grab the session handouts. I'm going to pop in here one more time. We'll get you guys out of here. Whoop, that's not right. That's the UEI I was going to look up on FPDS.
Wow, that's your secret code, Dave.
There you go.
That's
Dr. Raphael's customer UEI, in case you were wondering.
Uh-oh.
Let me grab.
Hey, don't put my social security up there.
Hold on. I'm going to grab the session docs from above here, and I'm going to pop them down in here where you can actually grab the session docs as well as the rest of the information that's here. All right. Project manager throws it over the contracting officer. That's what creates an opportunity. I'm challenging you to do this for 2 minutes. It may take you 10, but you can't get to 10 without going to 2. Ask the buyer for a meeting. Ask for a referral. Take a look at how this works. Make sure you're doing this so that you can get the award. And what you're going to see is you're going to award and you get a referral to the program manager, build relationships with the program managers, the contracting officers, so you win the award. All it takes is 2 minutes. And we do this because of this. 87% of the contracts and 91% of the dollars going to 5 or fewer people. And when you sign up, continual support, just like Sally was talking about. Do not be afraid. Pick up the phone. Come to the Monday roundtables. Businesses happen in there. Millions of dollars of businesses happen between people there teaming.
And we've got you 43 people here today. So that's the other thing, is having a community is so helpful because we can come on the Monday roundtables or come here, connect with each other and say, I need help. And there's all these resources that Dave and his team have created on this platform that essentially are free, except if, for SAM Radar users. So memberships has its benefits.
It's privileges.
Thank you.
Right. So I'm going to ask 2 more polls and we'll get you out of here. Do you want a piece of the 98% that don't hit sam.gov? You darn sight better. Because if you don't, you're going to be banging your head against the wall. So you have 139 days to disrupt the status quo for this fiscal year. And I'm telling you, you can do it. You can do it. But everybody here was saying it. You got to be proactive. You got to get moving. The phone's not going to ring just because you're registered on sam.gov or if you have a GSA contract. I can tell you that 80% of GSA contracts.
So Warren Buffett used to say, if the phone don't ring, that would be me. So that's what the government, if the phone's not ringing, that's the government.
That's right. That would be you. Yeah. All right. Reach out to Rafa. He can help you with your capability statement. He can help you with the rest of the stuff you got. Reach out to Sally. And we'll get a poll for you too as well. Peter Timbus, reach out to Peter for funding. Peter Timbus. Reach out to Brian Hebel, even though he wasn't here, because he can help you hard. And then join me today at the sam.gov tutorial. Rafa, you want to join me for that again?
Absolutely.
All right, cool. I'll make sure you get the invite.
And I'll be on time this time.
All right, cool.
Yes, Nicole. So for the 450,000 people, Dave, that are asking if they get the slides in this post conference,
you will not get the slides. You have to be here live for this.
No, you don't get the slides, but you will get. There is a report.
You get the recording.
Right. And Dave, there is a free copy, and this is no joke.
No joke.
A free copy of the ebook, courtesy of Dave Lowe from ISI Federal and Rafael Marrero and Company. To qualify for that, you need to register with Juliana at rafaelmarrero.com for a free 15-minute consultation. Only
Put that in there.
the consultation.
Put that in there. Put that in the chat, will you?
Okay, we'll do.
Yeah, put
And
that
I
in
had
the
to
chat.
another meeting. Thanks, everyone. It was an honor to meet all of you. See you on LinkedIn and on the other side. And next Monday on the
Thanks,
Roundtable.
Todd. You're the man for stepping up and just being on the hot seat without even knowing that you were going to be on the hot seat. I love it. That was great. And great session you did the other day. So we're going to give everybody. I'm going to get to a couple of questions. If there's any questions that anybody has, I'm looking back. We receive a copy of the webinar. Yes. And you can get a copy of the book, Joe. And yes, quote of the day from Jay Talbot: the people who get on this world are the people who get up. The people who get on in this world are people who get up and look at circumstances they want. And if they can't find them, they make them. I love that. That's awesome. All right. I think we got everybody. There we go. Anybody got a last minute question I want to throw in? There you go. The free book is in there, Rafa. Great stuff. Sorry we went over again. I'm going to tighten this up. I'm trying to tighten this up.
Dave, if anybody gets upset about us going 4 minutes over, just think of what they paid, right? Just saying.
Just saying. All right. We want to make sure you get what you want. If you need professional help, you might need psychological help. We don't do that here.
Yep.
We do that on Monday mornings a little bit.
I'm not that kind of doctor.
Not that kind of doctor. All right. So I'm going to get with you, Peter. Thanks a lot, man. Thank you. You got your mic working. We're going to make sure you get that happening better next time as well. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. You are awesome. And Rafa, I'll get with you in just a minute. Thanks, guys.